Welcome to the Addicted to DVC podcast, a deep dive into all things Disney Vacation Club. We share tips, tricks, and insider info, helping you make the most of your membership. Join us for the latest news, reviews, and interviews with DVC experts and enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned DVC member or considering your first contract, this podcast is for you. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Hurley and Gary Arruda.
Welcome to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. This is episode 14, recorded in the DeFont Leroy Recording Studios in Sarasota, Florida, and Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm your host, Mike in Florida, joined by my cousin and co-host, Gary in Rhode Island. Good evening, Gary.
What's going on?
Not much.
How's things?
Fabulous.
Yeah, things are good.
Things are good.
That's good.
My football team just keeps winning.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the Jets.
Yeah.
This isn't a Jets podcast. We could save that for another time.
But we have our first guest. It only took us 14 episodes.
That's not bad.
And we have Bev joining us. Where did we find each other? On social media?
Yeah, I had posted something in the Facebook page.
Now, how did you find our show? Were you a listener of the Legacy WDW Beyond the Gates podcast?
Yeah, I listened to both of them.
All right.
And then when you went off on this one, then I started listening to this one too.
That's fantastic.
Which one do you like better?
Well, like you said, this one's just getting started, so this one tends to be more pertaining to my DVC stuff.
Yeah. Gary, which one do you like better?
That's a trick question, isn't it?
Not really.
Is none of the above an option for me?
Yeah, I know. You want to retire. You're too young to retire, though.
That's true. I got another 23 years. You signed me to a lifetime deal. I was like, what was that? Like A-Rod when he signed like a 13-year deal back in the day or whatever.
Exactly. And you're paid You're paid
yeah.
accordingly, too.
Yeah, as we were talking right before we started recording, not knowing if we can even afford our streaming service anymore, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it in about 3 weeks.
Oh no.
But no, this one's been fun. I like having them separate because we can not alienate everybody when we just talk DVC on the other show all the time.
And that's what we were heading towards.
Yeah, exactly.
And we did get some comments in our old not our old group, but can you guys maybe like take that offline? Yeah.
But we appreciate you joining us, Bev. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mike? You said you had some questions prepared to get to know.
I do have some prepared questions.
This is a professional.
And yeah, and I actually got the email back with the answers, but I didn't want to look at them because I want to be surprised.
Okay,
what the answers are. So, first question: what is your home/resorts? Do you have?
Yep,
two?
Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo and Riviera.
Nice.
We had Animal Kingdom Lodge we bought in 2018. It's a resale contract. And Riviera, I bought the day it went on sale. My name was actually the second contract ever recorded on the listing whenever we bought it.
Wow. Second one. You won't imagine being the first.
I probably would have been if I wouldn't have taken the time to talk to my husband about it instead.
And that's why sometimes we don't need to have these discussions, right?
We shouldn't get the spouses involved. It doesn't.
They just slow things down anyway.
Exactly.
So you went the opposite. You bought resale first and then went to the blue card.
Right. Because we bought the resale because I knew I could get more points for the money that I wanted. But then whenever Riviera come up, I liked the concept art that they put out and the general feel, the way it was looking and all that. So that's why we decided to buy. We have a smaller contract at Riviera. Riviera, our direct points I have 75 there, and I have 210 at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So you're right around the 300.
Yeah, so that way I made sure they had the same use, because since I had a resale first, Disney would automatically make my direct match up.
Yeah, with the
makes it easier.
What is that use year?
March. Yeah, because we generally went before we were going either on spring break or fall break for the kids. And so the March use year worked because I don't have to bank till October 30, or I don't have to, bank everything till October 31st. So usually our vacation's done by then. After this one, our vacations will change. We'll end up going back in summer again, just because of my daughter's sports schedules. She now has volleyball on varsity volleyball. She can't miss fall break because of that. So
you bought your use year strategically, because I was going to ask if you just saw like a great Animal Kingdom resale contract and bought it regardless of
no,
whatever the use year.
no,
You were looking for a March
we
use
knew
year?
we wanted. Yeah, we wanted February or March, preferably March,
See,
just
that's
to go
something that
around
I
school calendars.
definitely did not take into account when I bought my contract. And not that I don't mind having the December use here, but I didn't know. I think we even talked about it before. Like I didn't realize the advantages of certain ones, but like you said, we go in July, so my banking window is also July 31st now, so it's a little disadvantage, but ultimately what Mike said when I did it, it was a really good contract, so that dictated my use here. Whereas probably if I had done a little more research, I could have maybe figured something out with a different use here, but ultimately I don't think it's kind of a smaller thing, but it's good to know going in what it is, which I definitely did not know. I understood what it meant, but I didn't really understand the advantages
How it
of
would
certain ones.
or how it would impact you until you've been using it for a few years.
Yeah.
Like we just keep figuring out every day, day after day.
I'm a big researcher. As soon as I get my head on something, I'm looking on everything, trying to figure out exactly what the ins and outs of everything are before. I mean, I won't buy a vacuum cleaner without finding out exactly everything it can do.
Now, do you do a lot of your research on the old reliable YouTube channel?
I do do a lot of YouTube stuff, but especially for DVC things.
Are you a spreadsheet person?
Yep.
We all speak the same language, don't we?
There's definitely a lot of
Uh-oh. We're having some technical
It tells me
difficulties.
all my park hours and stuff.
Okay, we got you back. All right,
Okay.
what's your favorite resort?
Yeah. I like both my home resorts. I like Animal Kingdom Lodge and I like Riviera. For Animal Kingdom Lodge is very nice and relaxing. You can just, if you don't want to rush off to the park, if the kids want to sleep, you can sit there and chill on the balcony and drink a cup of coffee or whatever. And Riviera, especially my youngest kid, my kids are very spread out. I have one that's going to be 31, one that's going to be 28, and my youngest one is going to be 16 next week. So, and then I have two grandkids, 5-year-old and 1-year-old little boys. But like my 16-year-old, or the youngest one, loves Riviera because she likes being able just to run to the coffee shop or whatever and get her iced frappuccinos or whatever. I don't do those, so.
And compared to Starbucks, that's actually a pretty good deal for Disney pricing.
Yeah, she
Pricing
loves
that
going
bad.
there.
Now, it sounds like you might need another 500 points with the size of your family. Don't you think, Gary?
Well, the way we had it planned is this way we could do each of my older two girls could go every 3 years in a studio for a week, is the way I've had it planned when we originally started buying things. So like in a 5-year period. Well, originally I had it in a 5-year period where they can go once. And then when I bought extra points and stuff, then I think it ends up working out to where every 3 years they can go up for a week.
And then one bedrooms come into the equation. Anyway,
yeah.
What's your favorite park?
I like my favorite park is probably just Magic Kingdom, because for one thing, the grandkids can do more stuff there. It doesn't have my favorite rides, but it is my favorite park.
That's fair.
I realized a few years ago, I went down, I had separated my shoulder. So my shoulder was in a sling. I couldn't ride a lot of stuff, but I could ride almost everything at Magic Kingdom still. And that's the stuff that, like, the 1-year-old grandson, he can go on the most stuff there. And I can sit and people watch there, and it's perfectly fine.
Absolutely. And it's the OG.
Hmm.
I mean, I can see that. That's my wife's favorite. Mine's Epcot. My wife's favorite is Magic Kingdom. Who's your favorite character? I'm sorry,
My
Gary.
favorite,
Oh, go ahead, Beth.
so my favorite character is probably Maleficent, but I also like Mulan and Figment.
That's
Now,
it?
Mike has no clue who Mulan is. I'll just fill you in on that. Right
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Milan is isn't that in Italy somewhere?
Nope, that's it. Nope, you're misremembering there.
Mulan's a character.
Oh, all right. No, I don't. I know McMuffin because we did a show with Tim Brooks years ago.
Yeah, with McMuffin. Maleficent. Yeah. That's very good. That's a different one. Not a different one though. That's not one I've heard before though. Maleficent. My wife loves Mulan. That's like her favorite.
Yes,
Disney
that's
movie.
how I remember. That's your favorite. That's your wife's favorite Disney movie, right?
Yeah.
All right,
She
now
just reminds me a lot of me when I was younger, because whenever I was in my teens, I joined the Army. So she just always reminded me a lot of me whenever she came out.
That's cool.
now we go into our wheelhouse. We're going to talk food. What's your favorite quick service?
Probably Primo Piatto. We we were
Do I
just
have a ding button over here. Ding.
well, we went there. I went there twice and they've got this new grilled veggie skewer thing that they just got, and I think it is vegan, but I'm not vegan. But I got it twice. I loved it, and I've never gotten anything bad there. Everything I've gotten has always been good.
Once in a while with peppers and just mushrooms. Just keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I'm on like a pita bread with some hummus and stuff on it.
Yeah. All right, so we're in agreement for somewhat. What's your favorite single credit restaurant?
It's a toss up between Kona Cafe and Skipper Canteen.
So I've never been to Skipper Canteen, Gary.
Yeah, me either.
You haven't either. What do you like? What do you like about it? Because it's on my list, but it's just whenever we're at the Magic Kingdom, we usually stay in it like Grand Floridian in one of the resort areas. So
they just, every time I've gone there, the food's always just been really good.
It is food driven and not the whole.
It's food driven. Well, and the atmosphere is fun. You know, the first time I ever went in there, I was cracking up. You know, because like we're sitting in this one room that's got a bunch of dishes and stuff, you know, behind us and all, and the guy's like, "This is the Great Wall of China," you know. Yeah, it's just all goofy jokes, you know, the Skipper jokes.
Gary, is that on your list or not?
Yeah, I want to go there. The menu looks good. That's my kind of food too. I like that, like Mediterranean, like kind of. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's definitely more unique. It's a different option than you're finding at most places at Disney.
Yeah, I usually get whatever fish they have there, not the whole bone-in fish. I don't like my food looking at me.
No, I don't.
But I do get the fish, and it's always been really good there.
Yeah, I usually travel with more picky eaters, so it hasn't been high on my list. But I think the girls would probably if they have mac and cheese,
you can get chicken tenders there.
Yeah, if they can get chicken tenders and enjoy the atmosphere, it'll be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, maybe we'll check it out.
So last is what's your favorite signature?
That's a hard one because we don't do a lot of signatures. The last thing I'm guessing it's probably Jico, but it's been about 10 years since I've been there. We've been to Brown Derby a few times lately, but I wouldn't consider that my favorite or anything. And I think California Grill, we haven't been there since they changed the menu up.
Yeah, I have no interest in that prefix right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Chico, are you okay with these good answers, aren't they? I mean, Chico, we love Chico.
I
don't
love
we?
Chico. I haven't been there in a long time. I'm dying to go back there.
Yeah,
That'll
our
be a
next
good one.
trip is in June, and I figure we'll do it. Me and my husband will do a date night at Jico one night while we're there.
That's what I need.
Usually
I
we
need to
try
get
to do one date night and let the kids go off and do, their own thing. And it tends to be at a resort either that we're staying at or that we can walk to. This time was supposed to be Topolino's, but it kind of closed down because of weather.
Have you been there?
No,
Okay.
I was
we were
going to say,
trying
I'm
to
looking
decide
forward
between
to the
fly
day.
and fish and there. And then when the weather report came, we canceled fly and fish. And you looking forward to the day? What?
Yeah, when I could do that, the date nights, leave the girls. They're still too young to leave unattended. Maybe I have to call cousin Mike in to be a babysitter for a night so I can go to Jico or something.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to take care of them.
Well, you'd be at the next table over with the two of them at Jico, though. Probably.
Right, yeah, that's not a bad play.
Just waving over. Yeah.
The time I went to Jico, was all three of my daughters because none of them had moved out yet. Like I said, it's been a long time ago, and my youngest one, which is 16, was probably 3 at the time, and we just sent them over to the Mara while we went to Jico.
Perfect.
Because the oldest one was like 16 or 17 at the time. She was old enough to watch.
That's perfect.
So anyways,
any more questions, Mike? Or
nope, those are all my
check
questions.
them all? Those are good questions.
Thank you, Gary. I did do some show prep.
I appreciate that.
So we're going to move in and talk about one of my bucket list items is to ride out a hurricane. We did one show on here and one show on the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast.
Yeah, you've been dying to be.
I have been itching to stay. I was thinking about doing it this year, but we're not in an evacuation zone, so I don't want to take any hotel rooms from those people who actually really need it. But it's on my bucket list to ride out a hurricane at Disney. And from what I understand, you did it up. We became Facebook friends about a week or two ago, and I saw some pictures. You were at one of my resorts that I want to ride out a hurricane, and you were in one of those rooms that I really want to ride out a hurricane in.
Yeah, since we had the grandkids and everything, we had a 2-bedroom at Riviera.
Ooh,
I
was a
do standard view there because I like the view. I like the standard views at Riviera better than the preferred views, because our standard view, you can look over and see all the Epcot fireworks. Even during the hurricane, I didn't realize they were still going to have the lights going on Spaceship Earth. All the lights were still going on and all that during the hurricane. I figured all that would be shut down, but it wasn't. So it's kind of pretty to watch everything.
So what day did you, because if I remember, did you do a split stay?
Yeah, we got there on Friday, on the 4th on Friday. And me, my husband, and my 16-year-old stayed at Boardwalk. And my other daughter that went with us and her husband and boys stayed at Beach Club, and just both of us in studios. And then the next day we moved over to the Riviera 2-bedroom.
Okay. So that would have been on a Saturday, and the storm was Wednesday. Wednesday, yes. Kind of like, well, for us, it came at about 7 o'clock, and probably a little later for you guys, a couple hours over in Orlando.
Yeah.
But tell us leading up, at what point did you know it's definitely going to hit and we're going to have to figure out?
I've been watching the news, and my other daughter had driven down. We flew down. My other daughter had driven down. She decided she was just going to stay where we were, because she didn't want to be on the road and get stuck during all that, since everybody was making a mass exiting. And so we all just decided to write it out. But when we first get to the resort that we're going to stay at for the week long, we always do a grocery order. So we have a case of water, water bottles and lunch meat and bread and all that, just for snacks in the room anyway.
So what do you do? Google, like Amazon delivers, or do you use a local company?
What did he we do this time? This time I used Amazon.
Amazon, they have to deliver it to like Bell Services, and then you have to run
Yes,
down and pick it up. Is
yeah,
that
he
how it
took it
works?
to Bell Services, and Bell Services brought it up to us.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because they had our luggage anyway. Because of moving from resort to resort, we always just use Bell Services to move our luggage.
Yeah, sure.
And so they had our luggage, and so they just brought everything all up at once. So it was,
you guys had some provisions anyway. You weren't too worried about
right.
that.
Yeah, I
But
had
also, nice thing
cereal
about
and milk and bread and turkey and all odds and ends.
nice thing about being at the Riviera though is you can leave the room and get to the lobby because it's all
right.
one tower.
Yeah, we had decided. Me and my husband had talked about it when we were coming back home. We're like, when we ranked everything, I'm like, out of the DVC resorts, if I had, riding out a hurricane, Riviera would be my first pick, and then probably Jumbo, and with Kidani close behind it. But Jumbo because of it's just a little more enclosed, and then after that, probably Copper Creek. Other than that, the rest of them, most of them, you got to go outside to get things.
You're right. Exactly right. Yep.
Where Riviera on Wednesday morning, we knew that it was going to shut down. I was talking to a couple of the team members and stuff there, and they said that anybody that was there after 2:00 was on the ride out crew. They were going to be there from Wednesday at 2:00 until Friday afternoon sometime. So we knew.
That is so cool. Like I've been reading about that. Because obviously you can't have people coming to their shifts in the middle of a hurricane. So
right.
You have to get and what time did you say it was? At about 2?
They said Wednesday at 2:00 is what they had told us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's when they shut all the parks down too, right? It was 2:00 on Wednesday.
Or
was that Tuesday?
So.
Yeah, no, I think it was that day because they weren't going to get it until about 10:00. So that sounds about right. You close everything down, let all the employees get the heck out of there.
Because we had went to Bar Riva to eat lunch that day, and we're sitting in there, and I was talking to the server and all, and she's like, "Yeah, they were getting ready to shut down Bar Riva at 1:00, I think." And she's like, "Yeah, anybody you see here past 2:00 will be here with you the whole rest of the time." So they shut down Bar Riva, and they shut down the pools, obviously, and the Skyliners.
Now, did you get a lot of information? Like I was watching YouTube that like on the resort TV, they were kind of giving updates. Did you see any of that?
I wasn't watching the resort TV, so I don't know. Like I said, I was staying on my phone. I was watching just regular TV, watching the weather channel and the local news. I like to watch, was it Welsh 4 or something?
Yeah. I think it's their NBC affiliate. Yeah, I was watching that actually too a little bit on YouTube. So you said that Bar Riva was closing, obviously, because they didn't want people. The only way to get in there is to go outside.
Right.
So that was closing up.
But everything else stayed open. Primo Piatta stayed open. El Topolino's closed too, because we were supposed to have a reservation there that night, and they closed. And I'm assuming that's mostly because of the number of cast members. You don't want that many cast members all hanging out there if they don't have to be. But Primo Piatta stayed open.
All specialty anyways. Like you're gonna have your chef who can do a meal that day, but then it's not like you need him on hand 18 hours to dress up as Mickey Mouse and
right.
I guess looking back, that does make sense.
Yeah, Primo Piatto stayed open. The coffee shop stayed open. For their normal hours. Now Primo Piatto got real busy.
Oh God, I can only imagine. I mean, because
they stopped all mobile ordering. You had to go there to order. So there was a line backed up almost to the elevators there.
Yeah, the elevator and the bathrooms. That's insane.
Yeah. But it moved very quick. There were 2 people just doing nonstop, taking orders. It moved quick. And I'm assuming they had quite a few people in the back making food because it looked like it was going to take you forever to wait in the line, but it wasn't as bad as what it looked like it would be.
Was it the full normal menu or was it like a limited? Oh, that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah. They did have some of the boxes in the coolers in the thing, where you seen the prepackaged meals with like the
Yeah,
Uncrustables and
and
stuff.
they had the charcuterie back there. Yeah,
Right. But nothing. But everything was fine. I mean, they didn't stop anything because I figured that it would be a limited menu, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I would have thought that too. Now
Just
you
for
posted,
speed reasons.
just to get, I mean, just to turn and just,
Right.
because you don't want people sitting there 45 minutes waiting for one of their cheeseburgers or.
Yeah.
Now you posted pictures on our Facebook page, and the parking lot looked kind of empty, but you said the resort was pretty busy.
Yeah. Yeah. The parking lot, like you said, looked pretty empty. So I'm guessing there's a lot of people like me that fly in, or
And the locals like me were, we were able or would have been able to cancel our reservation, and we would have just stayed put. So that does make sense that majority of the people were the,
now,
non.
granted, that lobby is going to look busier anyway, just because it's a smaller lobby than a lot of the DVC lobbies are. But they had characters out there pretty much nonstop for the little kids. They were doing the down in the I can't think of the name of it, the little activity center.
Yeah.
Yeah, downstairs. Yeah.
They were doing like make your own mugs and stuff like that with the kids, and characters were down there.
Yeah, I bet it seems a lot busier when every single person that has a room there is stuck in the building too.
Right.
So
Right.
they're gonna be walking
in your
around.
room and you get bored of just watching the Weather Channel and Local West that you have to get out and just go for a walk because you're
Especially if you're in like a tower studio or something.
Yeah.
You feel those walls close in on you. Being in a 2-bedroom or something, that's not too bad. But
No, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, I could hang out with the 2-bedroom, even with everybody there. We have our separate balcony, so we could get off on it and just, or just go to our room and not have to worry about it. Because I'm one of those people that I know storms should scare me, but I think they're cool. So I stand out there and watch them.
I do. I'm the same way. I was standing at my front door watching it. I mean, I love hurricanes, nor'easters, you name it.
Yeah.
Hurricanes
That's the first hurricane I've been through. I go through tornadoes all the time, and those are a little scarier because you don't know they're coming at you.
Amen. Yeah, those things scare the heck out of me.
Yeah.
So did you spend a lot of time in your room, or like what'd you do?
Yeah, most of the time we spent in the room. I tried to get out and walk around a little bit through the resort and stuff. My kids mostly just wanted to stay in the room, watch TV. So I was like, well, I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to go walking. So I guess I would go walking through the resort and be like, well, Mickey Mouse is down here in the lobby if y'all want to come see him.
That's crazy because if you think about it, each resort now probably has their own characters. So they're probably housing all these character uniforms.
Right.
At each respective resort, or are they planned ahead of time and just brought a bunch of outfits in?
Well,
but how many characters?
I'm guessing these were the same character dressed up as the Topolino's characters. So they had the costumes there anyway.
Oh, okay. All right.
that makes sense.
So was it just the Fab Four that was in the lobby, or?
Yeah, that's all I seen. Well, I seen Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy.
Okay, so what are they? They're the Fab Five, right? Because Goofy's part of that, but
Daisy's not usually in the Fab Four, but that's
neither
here nor there. But that makes sense if they have them there, and then obviously all the cast members have to stay in the resort as well. So
I didn't ask them where they got put up. She said they had accommodations for them, but I don't know if they had them in rooms or if they had a conference center and they're like, hey, you're all getting cots in here.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. They send them on the Skyliner to Pop Century. You're not staying here.
Now they did also, which it didn't work for Riviera, but the Thursday, whenever the weather was good, but there wasn't really, the parks weren't open or anything. They made all the arcades free for the for
Cool.
everybody. But I didn't, Riviera doesn't have an arcade, so that didn't affect us. I had my daughter walked over to Caribbean Beach, and then I found out they didn't have one either.
I didn't realize they don't have one either.
I didn't realize that until she went over there, and they're like, yeah, we don't have one.
I think such a massive resort would have one.
Yeah, that's what they told her anyway. But yeah, the next day the weather was pretty. We just walked around. I walked the whole lap around the lake there through Caribbean Beach and all that because I'd never been there. So I wanted to see the differences in the water levels. My husband had taken pictures the day before and the day after of the lake.
Was it a lot higher?
Yeah, it was significantly higher. I mean, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't flooding things out, but it was a lot higher on the docks and stuff. It was flooding out a couple of the beaches.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a rain event. This was very, very, very high winds, but we didn't get a ton of rain like we have in past hurricanes.
Well, there were certain spots I thought that got like 14 inches or something like that.
Yeah, there were parts of like on the north end of this. So Orlando might have gotten some rain. We only got about 5 inches. So
yeah, like I said, it wasn't anything that it wasn't flooding out sidewalks or anything like that. It was just a little higher up on the docks and up on the beaches.
Now, did you see any like a lot of trees down or?
Just in the parking lot? It was kind of fun watching them that next morning. They had a whole cleanup crew in the parking lot. I'm going to say probably 30 or 40 people out there, all with big industrial leaf blowers on their back, blowing everything. And they had a couple big trucks that were getting like limbs off of trees, I guess, that had broken and such. They'd lay down a big old tarp on the ground, and then they'd all blow their leaves like into that tarp. And one guy would grab it all and head over to the truck to dump it off.
Just like that. It doesn't take them long to get back in action, does it?
It really doesn't. It is so fun to watch.
Yeah, I stood out there watching it for like an hour.
Did they get it all cleaned up within that first day after that Thursday?
Yeah.
Did that?
Yeah, I got it all cleaned up within probably 3 hours or so that morning, at least, what I was paying attention to.
Now, was regular operations, you said the parks weren't open, but did they open up Topolino's?
I don't think so. I didn't check.
Okay. Yes. Sounds like they probably wouldn't, right, Gary?
Yeah, I think they didn't do regular stuff until the Friday. Like everything was back to normal. I think they just kept Thursday as like a cleanup day.
Yeah, I think so. Because like you said that only employees that would be there would be the ones that were there Wednesday at 2 would be the only ones we would see until Friday afternoon.
And I also heard that's like I just saw stuff on Facebook that they asked people not to like go outside even Thursday till a certain time. At least at some of the resorts, just for like cleanup.
Crowds down for cleanup. Yeah.
I don't know how that Riviera. Obviously, they're not going to tell you to stay in your room because you could get out and go around anyway. But I don't know if like there were certain. They just obviously want to keep people out of the way for the cleanup, especially in some of the areas if there were bigger trees and they had chainsaws going to cut things down. They don't want just people.
Now, I'm guessing
around.
They did take down the, as you walk into I think it's called Porte Cochere, whatever, like when you first get to the resort, the big gold round things that are that dangle on this. Like as you're walking into the front of the resort like if you drive, I think they took all those down the day before because I didn't pay attention, but I seen them putting them all back up the next day.
Really? Okay.
So I don't know if they figured it was be too much wind or whatever and took them all down, but that next day they were putting them all back up. So But there wasn't any signs about not going out to walk around or anything like that because I did go out and walk around.
Did you go out on your balcony during this storm?
I did a little bit, not when it was super bad. I just stood at the window when it got real bad. But when it was safely. I didn't want to get blown off the 8th floor, you know,
That wouldn't be good.
No, that would no.
or
That would
5th floor. We were on the 5th floor. It was like that's how I knew that the spaceship Earth lights and all were still on going when all that wind and rain was coming through.
all night rather.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that doesn't take any damage. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. A lot of that stuff. How about did you have to extend your stay at all, or were you planning on being there during this whole
No,
time?
we had to, with the way my daughter's volleyball worked out, we had to be back on Friday because she had a tournament Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I was afraid we were going to have to extend it just because I wasn't sure if flights were going to get canceled.
Yeah, right.
And then my daughter was going to stay till Saturday, and she ended up leaving Friday also, just because she had hurt her back, and so she couldn't get around the parks anyway. So she decided to go ahead and just cut off a day and they decided to go ahead and drive home. So when we were in the, after they checked out, we was already at the airport. After they checked out, I called DVC to see. I was like, what is going to happen with these points since they checked out and it was before 11 o'clock, you know, are they going to go into holding or what, you know, what's going on with them? And she's like, no, they won't go into holding. Hold on just a second. I'm going to go ahead and apply those points to your reservation for next year.
Perfect.
So she went ahead and banked them and put them in my reservation for next year. So
what was your scheduled checkout?
We were leaving on the Friday. My daughter was staying an extra day. My oldest daughter, or middle daughter.
Okay.
She was checking out Saturday, but then she decided to check out Friday.
Okay.
A weekend on a 2-bedroom. That's a good chunk of points to get back.
That is a good.
Right. So I was happy, you know, like I said, they because I was fully expecting those points to go into holding since they left before they didn't have to leave.
Right.
And she's like, no, I'll go ahead and put those, I'll bank them for you and they'll put them on your reservation for next year.
They're so lenient, first of all, with hurricanes, but I mean, like they technically didn't really have to do that.
Right.
Because you were already there. You know, I understand that if you can't make it there due to a hurricane, we talked about the hurricane policies on a previous show, but I mean, that's just a good thing.
Yeah. And I was surprised at some of the money that I got back that I didn't actually even expect. I'd paid for the memory maker, PhotoPass memory maker. I forget what it's called. I paid for that. So that was $185 that I paid for. And I used 4 days of it. Yeah. They refunded it. I didn't even ask for it to be refunded. I looked at my credit card and the charge had gotten reversed. I was like, okay. And then they gave me back the 2 days of lightning lanes that I had paid for. That technically Wednesday we could have went, because we were scheduled to go to Animal Kingdom that morning. Technically we could have went to Animal Kingdom that morning, but they went ahead and refunded Wednesdays and Thursdays. Because I didn't buy any for Friday because we were going to be out of town, you know, leaving. So
sounds like it's just straight across the board. Like I would assume if people actually went to the park on those days, they were just refunding because they didn't get a full day at the parks on that Wednesday when the storm came. So
probably easier for them to just refund it all than have to field calls from everybody and
correct
probably
all that stuff.
And they extended all the tickets. Everything you had left on your ticket, like I only have 2 days left on my ticket. Me and my husband both had 2 days left. My youngest daughter has 3 days left, and my other daughter and her husband and my grandson had 5 days left. They extended them till October next year.
So your 2 days were the Wednesday, Thursday that the parks were closed, correct?
Right.
Okay. And they extended it for basically another full year.
Right.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah. Works for me because like I said, we're going next year in June. So It'll be valid for them. Since they still have the tickets, and I got my points back for that stay. Now the daughter that went, she's going back with us in June too. So only we're staying at Jumbo, and then she is going to be staying right now. I think I have her at Jumbo, but then she wants 6 days out of it instead of 5 days. And so she wants me to see about moving her to Old Key West whenever I can, because I can get her a whole extra day for less points.
Yeah, they got good deals in that time of year.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question about Animal Kingdom, since that's your first home resort and my newest. What between Jambo House and Kidani, as far as like a 2-bedroom, what do you prefer?
For the 2-bedroom, I'd go Kidani, because you have a whole extra bathroom and the room itself is bigger. There's more square footage there.
Okay.
I like both of the resorts. If the kids were the grandkids were going to be staying with us in a 2-bedroom next year, I would prefer Kidani, because the splash area, the pool area in general, is a lot better than what Jumbo is. I like Jumbo for the lobby. I like Kidani for almost everything else. I like Jumbo for the lobby and the food, and Kidani for everything else.
Good to know. I was leaning towards Kidani for the pool, but I'm still up in the air. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I don't know how old your kids are, but they've got that splash pad that's great. It's fun. You can hang out for a half a day there just on the splash pad with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And the slide is actually longer at Kidani than it is at Jumbo in the main pool.
Yeah. Now, when we stayed at Kidani a few years ago, and actually the splash pad was closed for refurbishment.
That's right.
When they were,
That's right. I stayed 2 nights there too.
They were bummed about that, but yeah, we're going in the summer with my sister and her kids, who will be twin boys that are 5, and then my daughters will be 10 and 8 at the time when we go. So Kidani's probably a good move there, especially if it's a little bigger. That space might be very valuable in that situation.
You get more square footage. I forget how much more, but you get a whole extra bathroom. The only ones that have you ever stayed at Bay Lake Tower in a 2-bedroom? Okay, Bay Lake Tower and Kidani both have an extra bathroom.
Oh, okay.
And Alani. Alani's nice too. That's actually my favorite resort, but I figured this didn't count.
That's right, because you have that bathroom in the main living area over at Kidani.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Kidani, Jumbo, and Alani, all 3 have the bathroom in the living room. Nice. Or Kidani, Bay Lake Tower, and Alani. All 3 of them have a bathroom in the living room if you have a 1-bedroom or bigger.
Yeah, that's important. I think in that kind of situation, that comes in very, very handy.
Right. Especially since, like I said, my teenager usually sleeps in the living room on the sofa bed or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that basically gives her own bathroom.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's nice for a girl that age. Absolutely. Right.
Do you have any last questions, Mike?
I do not. Do you?
No. I just wanted to get the expertise on the Animal Kingdom stuff before we ran out of time.
You can tell spreadsheets that she runs. I mean,
she had the square footage ready to go. It wasn't even a hesitation.
Yeah,
that was like fantastic. Really good intel. Yeah.
I was actually in that 2-bedroom. I want to say a couple years ago. It's so dated though. It's like 1985. It reminds me of like my parents' living room.
Yes, that's the biggest thing with both Kidani and Jumbo is they need a refresh. They need to get that sofa bed out of there and put in the Murphy beds. I love the Murphy beds.
I do too. And
my daughter doesn't even sleep on the sofa bed. She just sleeps when we stay there. She just sleeps on the couch as a regular, just lays on the couch because the sofa bed's not very comfortable to her.
I mean, we collectively in the DVC community always complain about the resorts and the need for the refurbish. I mean, they'll do the Grand Floridian a year later. It needs to be redone. But Animal Kingdom Lodge is dated. Like that
Yes.
kitchen is so like 1985. It's crazy.
Bay
Right.
Lake Tower and Animal Kingdom are sorely in need of it. I know
Bay Lake-
Lake's
Bay Lake's
happening.
in rough shape.
I
It's
think
happening
Animal
right
Kingdom's
now.
happening right now too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like starting soon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's my hopes. I don't know when they're starting on Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'll hope by the time we go next year that I don't know if they're doing Kidani first or Jumbo first. I would love it if they had if we could get an updated room when we went next time.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Fingers
My
crossed.
daughter sleeps so much better on the Murphy bed than she does on the sofa bed.
Yeah, they're comfortable
Right.
They are nice.
for what they are.
All right.
All right, that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Bev. We appreciate you joining us today.
You're welcome.
We'll wrap us up. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at DVC Addicts. Email the show, info@addictedtodvc.com. Join our Facebook group, DVC Addicts. For my cousin and co-host Gary and Bev up in, it's Indiana, right? Southern Indiana?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Southern Indiana. I'm Mike in Florida. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you for listening to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. We want to hear from you. Email us at info@addictedtodvc.com and follow us on all socials at DVC Addicts. We appreciate you being a part of our DVC community, and we'll see you again on our next episode. Thanks again for listening, and welcome home.